Hello, in this video today I'm going to show you how to access two databases for you to help find statutes and case law. We are on the Law Library website. From this website, you would scroll down to the teal buttons you see below the picture. There is a button called Core Databases and Guides. This is the site where you can find the core databases that the library creates and has for you. The two that we're going to talk about today are Westlaw Advantage and Lexis Plus. We'll start with Westlaw Advantage. You can click into this. It will walk you through the sign-in page, which you use your credentials that I sent to you early in the year. We will assume you're already there, so we don't have to go through that. Once you've logged in, this is how the screen will look. It pulls up a search page, as you can see. You can basically get started right here in the center box. For today's purposes, we will use the case law, the case Rodriguez v. State. It's a Hawaii case. As you start to type it in, the computer will see if it can identify that case based on its information. It doesn't know it until we get to about this point, and there it did find it. It is that top one, Rodriguez v. State. There are two, but don't be confused. This is the one we're going to use for the illustration today. You can click on that citation and it will pull up the case for you. Here it is. So this is the basic layout you'll see in Westlaw when it comes to case law. It has all the relevant information here in the center. That's the caption, the title, and all the content. On the left, you will see our quick ways to get into the content. If you will, it's kind of like a table of contents. You can click into those and get right into that location. On the right here, I'd like to highlight these little blue buttons. These are different ways you can interact with the case. So of course you could email it to yourself, print it, download it, add it to a Dropbox. It has its own file system that you can save under your name that you can start using in Westlaw if you want. You can set up alerts, etc. You can also just start typing in notes here if you would like, and there are other features you can use that use some of the AI components of Westlaw. You can also download an image here, or even just start briefing it. That was how you find it by case, right? But there are other ways. Let's say you only knew the citation. And there are two citations. You're going to learn more about this as law school goes along, but there's a local reporter and then a Pacific regional reporter. But we're going to use the local one, which is 52 Hawaii 156. And it finds it there, and you click on it. And this is just another way to find the case based on whether you know the case citation title of the case or the citation based on the citator. In this case, it's Hawaii. That regional one I was mentioning is mentioned right here, 472 Pacific 2nd 509. Okay, so that's case law, but you've also been asked, oh, I should mention one other last thing while I'm here. Sometimes there are other ways you want to do a search. If we're starting here at the beginning and maybe you don't really know the case title, or you couldn't remember it, or you can't remember the citation, but you remember some things about it, you can click Advanced here on the right, just past the bar, and this is a way to get into the database using advanced fields. So here you could type in like phrases that are in it, you could type in the citation, you can also type in the frequency of like how long the period is. I thought there were other methods of advanced search, but they've changed some of these. And it might be because we're not in case law. That might be part of the reason. I want to see something here. We're in all content. If we had chosen, instead of being in all content, if we had chosen cases here at the beginning, yes. And now we do advanced. You see we have more fields. We have like, we can choose judge from a judge field if we want. We could list an attorney. There are many different fields we can search the contents here, but we had to be in cases first so knew we had those fields available to us. So we'll start back over because also I've been asked to show you how to find statutes. Of course, statutes are a different type of primary law that lawyers use, and they have their own method of organizing and codifying the statutes. For today's example, we're going to focus on the Hawaii revised statutes, which can be abbreviated HRS. And if you actually know your section, You could just start typing in the section number. It knows we're in Hawaii, by the way, because we've stayed into that. And we're going to do a search. And it found it, pulled it up. Section 662-2, waiver and liability of state. It's a real short statute. Here it is with the credits and its history. Again, it shows you how it's laid out in the statute system under these various categories, including Division 4, Chapter Title 36, and then Chapter 662. We have the same ways of saving and working with the information there. But let's say we didn't know the title, the citation for it, right? All we knew was the subject matter, which in this case is the waiver. Then if we were in statutes, which are clicked here on the right to get into, and we knew we wanted to go to Hawaii, I could then start, it pulls up all the statutes. I could then start typing the topic. So this was waiver and liability. It starts to find it. And there are a few others that deal with different types of waiver and liability, but this was the waiver and liability of state. So we can find it that way by clicking right at the top one. So I've shown you in Westlaw how to find statutes in case law. All right, now we have to conduct the same search in Lexis. So I'm back to the website, which lists the core databases and guides. And from here, we would go to Lexis Plus. I'll actually show you the login method this time if it makes me go through it. It takes you to the splash screen after you log in and you click Go to Lexis Plus. The lookout in the field is going to be real similar to what you saw in Westlaw. They don't deviate much in these search methods. Just everyone has a little different layout and color scheme. But we would start, of course, if we were looking for the case, with the title of the case. You can see I have recent searches here, so I can click on that top one. The thing I want you to learn about these is sometimes the cases aren't that utilized or that accessed enough that they always call up to the top, because this one it's trying to find is the Rodriguez spelled differently versus US, which is a federal Supreme Court case. That's not the one we're looking for. So we're just going to keep it because we know it's typed right. And, we could choose the jurisdiction if we wanted to stick with Hawaii. And we could just we could even choose the content if we know it's a case. And we can then hit the little search icon and let it conduct its search with that title. It is the top one there. So it did find it ultimately. It just didn't auto-suggest it. We can click into the link and we will see the layout, how Lexis puts the case. It looks somewhat similar to the other database. On the left are the summary and, as you will, contents and different ways to get into the case. Up here where these icons are the ways you can save the case if you'd like, or folder it, or print it, or download it. There are different ways to do that. So you see it's pretty similar as far as the layout. Again, if we only wanted to use we go back to the beginning by always clicking on the Lexis Plus up here icon on the upper left, we could just type the citation name in. Of course, if we also, again, didn't know the name of the case and we knew that was 52 Hawaii 156, again, that's just another way to locate the case by citation. You might not know the state citation. You might only know this one here, the 472. So we could have used that one as well. There are multiple citations for cases, depending on what you've been given, but it should pull up the same case you'll see no matter what. And that is the same case, yes. As far as statutes go, it's rather the same as you experienced in the last database. You can just start typing in the statute if you know the citation, Hawaii Revised Statutes 662-2. And as long as that is a good citation, it should find it for us. It is, here it is. Same kind of information on the left and the information up here on the upper right. Also, again, if we didn't know the actual number of the citation, but we knew kind of the general area, we could go into, under here, we can go into statutes and legislation. We could pick Hawaii as our jurisdiction, and we could start typing in the concept or the topic, right? So this was waiver and liability of state. and see what we find. It is that top one. So it's another way to get into the material based on whether you know the citation or the topic of the statute. So I've shown you both Westlaw and Lexis. If you have any questions going forward on this, please contact me. I'm glad to help you. I'm the Electronic Services Librarian. You can either send me an email or stop by the office. I keep office hours most days, and I'm glad to assist you. Good luck moving forward. Thank you.